A lot of our clients get gift funds from parents and family members. Could you just explain the limitations on those or any restrictions?
Whenever money is changing hands or increasing, Uncle Sam has to get his hands on it. So I'm going to start all this by saying consult a tax advisor, right? I'm not a CPA here. But keep in mind that you can only gift so much money per person per year in a given year. This year in 2024 is $18,000. So to give you a scenario, a grandparent can gift to their grandchild $18,000. If that grandparent's married, they can have grandpa and grandma give them $18,000 each for $36,000, right? So you could effectively get a $36,000 transfer or gift without having to have any gift tax liability. Once it starts getting above that, whether it's coming from parents, grandparents, any outside source, that's where you have to start taking into consideration if there is a gift tax and what paperwork you have to do. If you're gonna get a gift that's over $18,000, you have to fill out what's called IRS Form 709, all right? And it basically just says, here's the amount of gift that I received in excess of an annual gifting limit, all right? So if somebody, and keep in mind, the person that receives the gift, contrary to popular belief, doesn't have to pay the taxes. The gift tax is gonna be paid by the donor, right? It's not the donee that has to pay the tax. It's not like, because I got this income, I have to pay tax on it. So what comes into play as well is there's something that's called a lifetime exclusion limit, where you can gift up to $13.6 million over your lifetime to outside of your estate, right? Because keep in mind, Uncle Sam has to get his mitts on if you're changing money or passing it down, that needs to be taxed. So let's go down the scenario of somebody wants to gift $20,000. That's $2,000 more than $18,000. That $2,000 needs to be filed on that Form 709, and that reduces that $13.6 million limit by $2,000. All right? So that gives you the ability to say, at the end of my life, I'm keeping track, I can only gift $13.6 million, right? And if you're gifting throughout your lifetime in excess of what the annual limit is, that reduces how much you can gift at the end of your life. Things to think about there too is that $13.6 million number, it's adjusted for inflation. So that's gonna keep increasing every year. Another thing to consider is at the end of 2025, the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is gonna sunset, which a lot of people talk about. What Trump did in 2017 with the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was he increased the amount that you could have on that annual or that lifetime exclusion limit. So in 2026, unless Congress does something to say that what was changed is going to stay intact, it's probably going to be more like a $7 million lifetime limit. So that's going to have a lot of estate planning consequences on anybody that's looking to transfer money down generationally. For most people, you shouldn't have to be worried about a gift tax unless you have a large estate. But those are things to think about. The last consideration is there's another caveat to dodge the gift tax that's called the 5-year rule, where you can say, I want to take 5 years of gifts and gift it in all 1 year. So if it's $18,000 this year, you multiply that by 5, that's $90,000. So grandma could say, hey, I'm going to give you $90,000 and use my 5-year rule. That's not going to be subject to gift tax. All right. And then also grandpa could step in and say, I'm going to give you $90,000 as well. And you can have $180,000 that's still fair game for not having to have a gift tax liability or go against your annual exclusion limit. Okay. So, yeah.
Do you still have to file a form when you're doing that 5-year? Like, is there any 5-year form or anything you need to fill out for that, for keeping this rolling tab?
It's a good question. Yes. So definitely work with your accountant on that, right? Because if you're gifting that much, there needs to be some documentation to go into that. But once again, it's not going to be offset against your lifetime exclusion limit.